Hi folks, Champagne Friday again. In one of my favorite spots, a tradition to come to this place, Vamlingbo, in Vamlingbo Church, just behind us here. I was here when I was 7 years old and I had an idea that I'm going to marry my grandmother. I promised her that we're going to get married there. So I haven't been here for many years. 2 years ago I arrived here more or less by chance and I met one of my idols. I had his books, Lasse Jonsson, sitting next to me here. The introduction is that he's a fantastic painter, an artist, and he's also the leading one of the leading ones in Europe, definitely in Sweden, about birds. And for me, even more interesting, he's the best guy on this special island for butterflies. Since when I was 7 years old, and even more when I was 12, I was chasing butterflies in Gotland, having my own collection, being as nerdy as I am in Champagne. I was with butterflies at the time. Especially I was hunting the Apollo butterfly and some Papilio macaon and the hawthorn butterfly and åkervindesvärmare. I don't have a clue what that is in English, but things like that. And last year he told me where to see the Apollo, and I was there. Björn Stjärne was wondering what I was doing, but finally I found it. So Lasse, Champagne here in your garden, absolutely wonderful, the greatest of traditions. Welcome to Champagne.
Well, I hope you come back every year. It's a wonderful tradition, and the Apollo is flying very nicely now. I just want to tell you. And I got a picture from one of the gardeners here with a macaon at the lavender here. So wonderful. Well, I can't think of anything better than drinking champagne with you.
No, but it's a very similar type of passion. But for me, it's very similar. When I was a kid and when I was running around, I was searching for spots without having that much knowledge. I was searching for places where it might be possible to find a certain species, and that's very much what you've been doing, especially with the birds. And,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, we've been talking about this being a nerd and being very passionate about something very specific, and it's the same with me with birds. I started when I was 3 or 4 years painting birds, and still doing it, and it's certainly something that has given me a lot of knowledge, not only about I was collecting butterflies when I was young too, but there was only 24 hours on the day, so
exactly.
I have to concentrate on something. So in my case, it was birds. But and that's what's so interesting. That the more you learn, the more you know, the more interesting it gets. And there's not one single small detail that you don't think is fascinating when you go into something. A specific area like you have done with the champagne. So I think we need to...
I remember last year when we were here in your fantastic garden, for instance, we were smelling different roses. I don't have the knowledge of the different species, but I could of course sense the differences in the bouquet in smell. And even with the types of lavender that you have, surprised me a lot, because I never liked the dry lavender that you have in clothes and in soap, etc. But I love it in nature. And you showed me the differences from different parts of Europe. And it's a little bit the same here. What we have in front of us here is 2 absolutely new champagnes for me, new vintages. It's the pure Grand Cru, all 3. This one, Grand Reserve, Blanc de Blanc from Choupy, Auxerre, is the village. So perhaps together with Juhlin, the least known of the great Grand Cru villages, but next to Le Mesnil, much more sunny style than Le Mesnil, And in the hands of Chopin, which is actually a small house, it's not a grower, they go extremely much into pineapple notes. Pineapple is for me dominating. There's a lot of citrus, even to papaya, mango, those kind of notes, but everything is slightly sweeter in the citrus field than it is if you compare it to Luminil next to it. In the middle we have the vintage from the same village. More power, more concentration. And in the third glass, nothing new, a champagne that we always taste here, because we learned that this is the spot to taste Paul Bara Special Club Rosé. And the new vintage 15, which is very often in most hands is a little bit over matured, a little bit too rich, a little bit too heavy, a little bit cloying type of vintage. In the hands of Paul Bara, you can just see on the color, it's very pale, it's 100% Boussy Pinot Noir old vines. And finesse and the elegance in combination with the almost, I would say, coton-like grace from Pinot Noir, which is tremendous. So, that's the three, and I wait for your comments, Lasse, while I'm tasting. Wow. It's, as you say in Sweden, tripp, trapp, trull. One step higher, and the Olymp. This, the first one, very much on this tropical side. Sweet citrus with pineapple dominating. Can you see it when I say it? Or do you have
absolutely, absolutely.
a little bit lollipop, a little bit Piggelin ice cream, the Swedish one, which is rather typical. Fresh, nice, easy to drink, uncomplicated, very pure. The vintage, the 15, much bigger. You have the same kind of fruit, but here it's wrapped into something much more spicy. And within the spiciness, I have very strong breadiness. There's a lot of freshly baked bread, but also slightly smokiness, which is not the appearance at all in the first one. And a rather surprising but nice touch of kalops and dillkött. These meats with certain spices, lagerblad. Daniel, what is lagerblad in...
Bay leaf.
Bay leaf.
Yeah.
Not Baileys, bay leaf. Okay, very good. Yeah, those kind of notes. Even tea leaves is one note. And then when we come to the giant of the three, the biggest, the direction where it goes to is, of course, very sunny Pinot Noir, very rich, very round, mature. But for me, it's a beautiful act of balance to get such an elegant Pinot Noir from a year like 2015. Still fresh, seductive, seamless, caressing, so soft and silky. So, wonderful to be back, and a nice tradition to start in the garden before we have this fantastic dinner in your, together with your new team. Tell us a little bit about
Yes, I've been
kitchen.
looking for somebody that could take care of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I've been standing there myself in May and early June, but I'm so happy to have Andrea and Franke. They're both, working in Stockholm in good restaurants, and they met on Gotland, and they fell in love with Gotland. And so I hope they will continue to step up this place, the restaurant here, and they will be open during evenings as well. So it's wonderful. Yeah,
it's really wonderful.
It's so great to hear you talk about them, and you sort of make you move into your direction. But I did feel when you said something smokiness, it was like, because we had this pineapple, it was like you're putting pineapple on the grill or something like that. Specific. But I agree. It's certainly 1, 2, 3. The tripptrapptroll, as we say in Sweden. And we have been drinking this before, but I think this was.
It's exceptional. It's
Yes,
actually,
absolutely.
this year, it's the first time, it's a mini Cristal Rosé. If you love Cristal Rosé, and for a fraction of the price, for Bara Special Club 2015. Lasse, thank you so much for coming here and for joining us in Champagne Club. And for everyone who have not been to Gotland, you need to come here. We have 2 fantastic places, Daniel Krie's place, and here and buy some of his magnificent bird art. I don't know which is the rarest bird he's ever seen, but I know that oleander svärmare is the most rare butterfly he's ever seen. Cheers.
Cheers.